It's been a long time. We've not been able to go live for such a long time. I just want to say a few things today in these few moments or few minutes that we have. I just want to say that a Sunday law is coming, a global Sunday law or a nation that was set apart by the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump. And I can tell you now that that was a trial run, just like the pestilence 19 or COVID-19 was a trial run, all right, to see whether we can be able to control the world's population, all right? And they did that and they were able to lock down the entire population, the entire world, 8 billion people. All of them were under lockdown, okay? Nothing like this has ever happened in history that you will get a whole world to comply. So COVID-19, it was for the first time that the powers that be were able to get the entire world to comply with whatever agenda that they wanted to do. All right. So we have that. So COVID-19 was a trial run to see whether the powers that be can be able to control the world. And indeed, they were able to control the world. And so what we have now with this Sunday, all right, what we have now with this Sunday, the previous week, um, the May 17th and May 16th, those were trial dates to see the response of people, or especially Christians. Will they respond to this national Sabbath? Will they respond to the invitation for them to keep the Sabbath day holy? Will they respond to these? You understand? So that was a trial run, and indeed, people responded. You understand? They went to keep the Sabbath. They went to welcome at Godwin Omakaro. Hi, welcome there, and thank you for tuning in. All right, so the Sabbath that was kept on the 15th and the Sabbath that was kept on the 17th of May, that was a trial run to see whether is it possible to control the entire population to worship on a certain day. Remember COVID-19, it was also a trial run to see whether can we be able to control the entire world's population, 8 billion people. 2020, 8 billion people were put under lockdown in 3 weeks, okay? In 3 weeks. We know now, files are coming out that COVID-19 was not what we're told it was. We know now, we're told that COVID-19, or even the vaccines, were now being told that they were not effective as we're told they were effective. So people are going on trial now. So the whole COVID-19 thing is being exposed now. So the purpose of it was not to make people healthy. It was not to make people safe from the virus. It was about control, to see whether we can be able to lock down the entire world. We can be able to make everyone in the world comply with us. Let me take this time and welcome to you all who have just joined us to All Things Podcast. All right. So now the next thing that we need now, we need a global day of rest. We need a global day of rest. And the global day of rest is they've decided Sunday as the world as the global day of rest. And so on the week, the previous weekend of May 15, May 16, and May 17. May 16 was a Saturday, and May 17 was a Sunday. All right. Majority of people honored or celebrated May 17 because majority of people are Christians, and majority of Christians, they worship on Sunday. All right. So the May 15, May 16, and May 17 was a trial run to see whether the world can again listen to us, obey us when we tell them they need to rest on this day. They need to stop doing work. They need to stop any activity and just relax, and sit down and go to church. All right. So and this is the next thing that is going to come. So each and every event that it will be following, each and every event that follow will be a preparation for a global day of rest. All right, a global day of rest. It had never happened in history that a sitting president will declare a day or proclaim a day of rest, a day of worship. It was for the first time in history of the United States of America that a day of worship will be proclaimed by the president. And you'll remember that the last time a day of worship was declared or proclaimed, it was in AD 321 by Constantine. AD 321 by Constantine. Constantine declared Sunday as the day of worship, declared Sunday as the day of rest in the year AD 321, and failure to comply with Constantine's day of rest, there were penalties. Okay, you were imprisoned. Okay, you were persecuted, you were jailed, you were stripped of your properties because the church was controlling the state. You remember that Constantine was both the leader of the state and religion. Hence, he was able to proclaim a day of rest. So the religion and state power were combined or were united during the reign of Constantine. That is why he was able to declare the day of worship as Sunday. You will know that from the Bible, whether you're a Christian or not a Christian, it doesn't matter at this point. This is history. We know that in the Bible, the day of worship it's Saturday in the Bible. The day of worship is Saturday, the Sabbath day or the seventh day of the week. So when the Romans saw Christianity taking over the world, they were jealous of Christianity. And they said, how can we control this movement, these Christians? I mean, they were taking over the world. They were saturating the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ. And the Roman Empire, all right, decided that in order for us to control this Christianity, we need to infiltrate Christianity. We need to infiltrate it. We need to control it. When we infiltrate it, we'll be able to control what Christians do. We'll even be able to control how they worship and also when they worship. That is when the Roman Empire, led by Constantine and later on by the popes. Okay, this is when the infiltration of the church happened. This is when they changed the day of worship, because the Romans were worshiping. Remember, the Romans were pagans. The Romans were worshiping the sun god, their main god. They had many they worship the stars, they worship the sun, they worship nature, they worship the river, they worship anything that could be worshipped. The pagan Rome was worshiping anything that could be worshipped. But now that they infiltrated Christianity, they were appearing as if now they are becoming Christians, but they were not really becoming Christians, because when they realized that Christians has a day of worship, Sabbath day, the seventh day of the week, they sat down and said, well, we have our own day of worship, the sun day, the day of the sun, the day in which we worship the sun god. All right, what do? Do we keep the Sabbath of the Christians, or we maintain our sun day, the day of the sun? Because the name Sunday, those are two words, S-U-N, day. It is the day of the sun. I don't know if you have ever looked at that. Sunday, the two words, sun, day, sun, day. So on the first day of the week, which is Sunday, the Romans, it was their day of worship, they were worshiping the sun god. All right, so when they became Christians, they could not let go of the day of the sun, because they did not become Christians because of conversion. They did not become Christians because they loved God. They did not become Christians because they wanted to worship God. No, they became Christians because they wanted to control Christianity, because Christianity was taking over the world and the Roman Empire was ruling the entire world. So Christianity became a threat to the Romans. And as Christianity became a threat to the Romans needed a plan to stop the influence of Christianity, but they could not stop Christianity. They tried killing Christians. They tried threatening them. They tried imprisoning them, jailing them. It did not work. And then they realized that the only way we can be able to deal with Christians and Christianity is to infiltrate it. Layo, brother, welcome, Layo, and thank you all for joining us. It's been a long time. We've been away for a long time, and today we just have a few minutes to do what we love, to share information. So this is what is happening. So the weekend of May 16 and May 17 was dedicated as a national Sabbath in the United States of America. All right, a national Sabbath, and all over the world, because Americans all over the world, they were also celebrating their 250th anniversary. So it was happening all over the world. Wherever Americans were, they gathered to celebrate the 250 year celebration of the United States of America. You understand that? So, like we're saying, everything that is going to be happening now, it is leading to a Sunday, a national Sunday or a global Sunday. Each and every event that is going to take place now, all the events will lead us, will produce, will give us a national Sunday law, or a global day of rest. And that global day of rest will be Sunday. And many of you will say, but what is wrong with Sunday being the global day of rest? Since many Christians, in fact, majority of people in the world, they rest on Sunday. It is that day of worship. The only problem with that is this global day of rest will be coming in the name of God. They'll say, in order for us to show God that we love him and that we repent and that we want to take care of the nature. Remember, you've got homosexuals, you've got lesbians, you have pedophiles, you have all these immorality going on in the world. So they will say we are to dedicate the entire world to God. And in order for us to dedicate the entire world to God, we need a common day of worship, a global common day of worship, that the entire world on that day will bow down and worship God, or bow down and pray to God, or bow down, try to appease God. So the calamities, the sicknesses, the pestilences, the diseases, everything that is happening, so that it can be capped. You understand that? So it will come in the name of God. And because it is coming in the name of God, we're doing this for God. All right? We are going back to God. Remember, it says America, nation under God, and the entire world must go back to God. All right. So this movement will begin in the USA. This movement will begin in the USA, just like the Sabbath, the national Sabbath began in the USA. All right. So May 16 and 17, those were the beginning of a global day of rest, a common global day of rest, a common global day of worship. So this movement will definitely start in the USA, all right? Whether under the President Donald Trump or the next president, but it will begin in the USA and it will spread out across the world. Why USA? Why must it begin in the USA? Why did this Shabbat proclamation, why was it not declared from Israel? Why did not Netanyahu declare a Shabbat, a national day, a national Sabbath day? Why was it not declared in Israel, since we believe that Israel are the Jews, and the Sabbath was first given to the Jews? Why was it not declared by Netanyahu? Do you know why it was not declared by Netanyahu? It's because Israel plays no significant role when it comes to Bible prophecy. Israel has no role in the end times, okay? and therefore it could not be Israel. The only entity or the only state that has a role in the end time, it is the United States of America, superpower, right? After the USA, there is not going to be any world superpower. The USA is the last world superpower. Remember, we shared the previous weeks that the Bible gave us 7 kingdoms, all right? The Bible gave us 7 kingdoms, and these 7 kingdoms were to rule the earth successively, all right? The first kingdom was the kingdom of Babylon. And the second kingdom, the Medes and the Persian. The third kingdom, Greece. The fourth kingdom, pagan Rome. The fifth kingdom, papal Rome. The sixth kingdom was the French Revolution. And the seventh kingdom, it is the United States of America. So you and I were living in the last superpower. In other words, when Christians say we are living in the last days, all right? When those who follow prophecy say we are living in the last days, it is because we believe in the books of Daniel and in the books of Revelation, which has prophesied that there will be 7 world empires or 7 world kingdoms, all right? And so far, already 6 kingdoms have passed, all right? 6 kingdoms have passed already. We are living on the 7th kingdom, which is the United States of America. And the United States of America has not yet reached its peak, but very soon it will reach its peak. And how will the United States of America reach its peak? It will reach its peak after conquering China, after subduing Russia, after subduing North Korea. Remember, I always speak about the Project 2025, and I tell you to read Project 2025. We know from page 92 of Project 2025 that America has identified China as its top enemy, all right? And America must make sure that China does not grow beyond what it has been able to, all right? Because should China grow beyond what it has been able to, China becomes a threat to the United States of America. Therefore, the United States of America will not be able to do what she's supposed to do. So in order for the United States of America to remain the world superpower and to remain the last and the 7th kingdom, the United States of America needs to neutralize China. And not only China, they've identified Iran, Venezuela, China, Russia, and North Korea, all right? So we're gonna see something happening between United States of America, Russia, and North Korea. We are to expect something between America and China and Russia and North Korea. Very soon, we need to expect something. Forget the war in Iran. The war in Iran, I think they have everything under control, both Iran and the USA. These guys, let me tell you something, they create a chaos. And in the midst of the chaos, they go behind the doors, they make deals. Like we have an episode here, I don't remember, I think it was on March, our episode which said Trump and Netanyahu, they have the same master. We said Donald Trump and Netanyahu, they have the same master. They are puppets of the same master. Now, even with this war, Iran, I believe that Iran is also playing for the same master, all right? I believe that Iran is also playing for the same master, because when you look at what is happening, the purpose of war in Iran, it was so that the USA can become the majority controller of the flow of oil globally. All right. And America needs to control the oil of the world so that America can determine who buys the oil and the price of the oil. All right. So because the USA did not, before the war, the USA did not have the upper hand when it comes to the shipment or the flow of oil globally. But today, as you and I speak, the USA is the majority supplier of oil globally. All right, don't take what the news is telling you. Look at what is happening. Look beyond what the news is saying. Because before the war, Iran or the Middle East supplied 30% of the global oil. 3% of the oil of the world came from the Middle East. Since the war came, the Middle East has not been able to supply the oil globally. 30%. It has been the United States of America. All right. So to some extent, Iran is an enabler for the USA to achieve its goals. All right. But I'm going to tell you this. All nations under the sun will vote for a global day of rest. Even the Jews in Israel, or in fact, all Christians, all Buddhists, all right, even atheists will vote for a global day of rest. And that global day of rest will not be, in fact, they will be using the Bible. You see, here's the thing. They will be using the Bible, not the Quran. They will be using the Bible, not the book of Enoch, not the Apocrypha. This is why I'm saying to you, those who are criticizing or critiquing the Bible, I'm telling you for free, the Bible is true. The Bible contains the truth. You may not like it, you may not believe it, but the fact that you don't believe it and the fact that you don't like the Bible or you don't believe in the Bible, you don't use the Bible, it doesn't mean what the prophecies contained in the Bible, it doesn't mean they will not be fulfilled. And it doesn't mean that the fact that you don't believe in the prophecies, you don't believe in the Bible, it does not mean that the things that are happening in the Bible will not affect you. It will affect you. The Bible talks about the mark of the beast, no other book. And guess what? Everywhere in the world, Hollywood talks about, they have movies about the mark of the beast. Where do they get the mark of the beast? The concept of the mark of the beast, it's rooted in the Bible. So the Bible told us about the mark of the beast, and it told us that to know what the mark of the beast is, we need to know who the beast is. And today there's confusion globally about who the beast is. Everybody, they decide, oh, this one is the beast. All right? The Bible tells us about the Antichrist. Everyone today in the world is confused on who the Antichrist is, when the Bible has given us clear marks, clear identifying marks of who the Antichrist is. It is deliberate. It is deliberate. All right? It is on purpose, because they don't want us, they don't want you to know who the mark of the beast, or who the Antichrist is. They don't want you to know who the beast is, because when you know who the Antichrist is, when you know who the beast is, you will not support the Antichrist. You will not support the beast. But when they keep you in darkness on the true identity of the Antichrist, on the true identity of the beast and the mark of the beast and his name and his number, then you'll not be in support of the beast. So they don't want us to know, to understand who the beast is. They don't want us to have that knowledge. But here at All Things Podcast, we exist to expose the beast. We exist to expose the Antichrist. We exist to expose the wickedness and the evil of the Antichrist system. And that's why we've been telling you that the mark of the beast, it's very simple. Who is the beast? That's where we should start. And therefore, you cannot be able to identify who the beast is without the Bible. You see, this is where the trick part is. Because if you say you don't believe in the Bible, if you say you're not a Christian, you don't believe in the Bible, you think the Bible is inconsistent, you think contradicts itself. And at the same time, you're talking about the mark of the beast. You're talking about the new world order. You cannot talk about the mark of the beast and the new world order without the Bible. It is the Bible that talks about the mark of the beast. It is the Bible that talks or reveals to us the new world order. The new world order is what is called in the book of Revelation 13, 15, 16, 17, the mark of the beast. No one will be able to buy or sell unless you have the mark of the beast. The Bible says this beast power will force both young and old, rich and poor, free and bond to receive a mark in their forehead or in their right hand, so that no man will be able to buy, only those who have the mark of the beast or the number of his name or the name of the beast. So three things are given there in Revelation 13. It is the name of the beast, the number of his name, and the mark of the beast. Three things. And all over the world, people believe that 666 is the mark of the beast. No, 666 is not the mark of the beast. 666 is the number of the beast. There are three things. There is the name of the beast, the number of the beast, the mark of the beast. Three things: name of the beast, mark of the beast, and the number of the beast. 666 is the number of the beast. What is the name of the beast? The name of the beast, it's Vicarious Filidae. Vicarious Filidae. I think, let me give you the name of the beast. Who is the beast? When we talk about the beast of Revelation 13, we are talking about the papacy. The papacy is the beast of Revelation 13. The papacy is the beast of Revelation 13. The head of the papacy, the head of the papacy has a name. The head of the papacy is the Pope. The head of the papacy has a name, and his name is Vicarious Filidae. It is not just a name, it's a blasphemous name. Just like the Bible said that the beast has a blasphemous name in the book of Daniel chapter 7, all right? That's why I'm telling you that it is difficult for you to understand the beast, to understand the Antichrist, if you will not use the Bible. The concept of the Antichrist, it's a biblical concept. The concept of the beast and the mark of the beast, it's a biblical concept. Without the Bible, without understanding, in fact, without believing the Bible, you are in darkness when it comes to the mark of the beast. You will be in darkness when it comes to Antichrist. It is not the movies that will tell you, that will make you understand, that will point out to you who the Antichrist is. It is the Bible. And therefore, we need the Bible. That's why I'm saying to you, whether you believe in the Bible or you don't believe in the Bible, I don't care. But take the information that the Bible is given unto you, because whether you believe it or you don't believe it, whatever has been prophesied in the Bible, it will come to pass, and it will affect both you and I. So discarding the Bible, throwing the Bible, trampling upon the Bible, it doesn't assist in any of you. It doesn't assist any of us. You don't have to be a Christian to understand what I'm telling you. Yeah, many Christians, they don't believe in the books of Daniel and Revelation. They tell you that the things contained in the book of Daniel and in the book of Revelation are not meant for us. These are the things that will happen after rapture. I can tell you for free, lie. That's a lie. The book of Daniel and the book of Revelation were written for our time. Those prophecies are being fulfilled right now, today, before our very own eyes. Anybody telling you that the prophecies in the book of Revelation and the prophecies in the book of Daniel are yet future, that person is smoking something bad. I don't care whether it's your pastor. I don't care whether it's your elder or your bishop. It don't matter. Anybody telling you that don't worry about the book of Revelation, anybody telling you don't worry about the book of Daniel, they are ignorant. They're ignorant. They themselves have never studied the book of Daniel. They've never studied the book of Revelation. That's why they heard somebody tell them, don't worry about Revelation, don't worry about Daniel. They have no idea what is contained in the book of Daniel, no idea what is contained in the book of Revelation. And the same people telling you not to worry about the book of Daniel, the book of Revelation, the same people telling you not to worry, they talk about the mark of the beast. I mean, where is the beast identified? The beast is not identified in the book of Matthew. The beast is not identified in the book of John. The Antichrist is not identified in the book of John or the book of Acts. The Antichrist is identified in the book of Daniel. The Antichrist is identified in the book of Revelation. How do you tell Christians that they should not worry about the book of Daniel, not worry about the book of Revelation? At the same time, you want to warn them about the Antichrist? You cannot be warned about the Antichrist because the Antichrist, it's in the book of Daniel, in the book of Revelation. So if you're not going to study the book of Daniel, not going to study the book of Revelation, how will you know who the Antichrist is? How will you prepare yourself? How will you know what the beast is? How will you know what the mark of the beast is if you're not studying these books? How will you know? And this goes for both Muslims, Buddhists, all of you. It don't matter what religion you are, okay? This is a global prophecy. It will happen globally. And as this global prophecy happens globally, Islam will be affected by that prophecy. The mark of the beast prophecy, Islam will be affected by that mark of the beast prophecy. The Antichrist prophecy, Catholics, Buddhists, it don't matter. Each and every one of us globally, even the atheists who claim there is no God, who claim not to believe in anything, they will be affected. Because the powers that be are using God. The powers that be are using God to further their plans. And the powers that be are using the Bible, all right? So they will use the Bible for a global day of rest. I want to tell you something. It don't matter how wicked a person may be, or a nation may be, or a kingdom may be. At the end of the day, they all believe in a God. No matter how bad you may think or how stupid their God may be or may sound, they all believe in a God, some sort of power, all right? Now, make a mistake. Many crises will be brought upon humanity. Many diseases will be brought upon humanity. Remember, the powers that be are able to create earthquake. They're able to make it rain. They're able to stop rain. They're able to make tornadoes. They're able to create storms. There is nothing they can manipulate weather. The powers that be are able to manipulate the weather. All right? So they are able to bring about diseases. All right? They can do that. And many diseases will come upon man. Many calamities, many storms will come. And as humanity is faced with hunger, pestilences, diseases, displacement, poverty, famine, they will come with a solution to say we are being hit or punished by God because we have forsaken God. Remember what they're doing now. They're creating evil. They're creating evil. All right? They're allowing evil, allowing abominations. All right? Homosexuality, that is abomination, it is evil according to the Bible. If you're a homosexual, it's not a personal attack on you. I'm simply telling you what the Bible calls homosexuality. Homosexuality in the Bible, it is called abomination. Same-sex marriage in the Bible, it is called abomination. And the powers that be are legalizing homosexuality, all right? Legalizing it. Abortion, that is killing. But the powers that be are legalizing abortion, all right? These are all wickedness, all right? Same-sex marriage, these are all wickedness. And many more wickedness that are allowed to take place. Many more immoral things that are being allowed to take place. So they will use the same immorality that they've created to put us on the corner again, to say God is angry at us because of our lifestyle. God created a man and a woman. God created a man and a woman to be able to procreate. Now we're busy doing abortion. Maybe God is angry at our lifestyle. Maybe God is angry. So in order for us to return to God, let us have a common day of worship. Maybe God will look at us and have mercy on us. You remember Nineveh? You remember Jonah? Jonah was sent to Nineveh. And when the king of Nineveh heard that God was to destroy Nineveh in 40 days, what did the king do? And the nation, they repented. The king said, let us repent. Let us fast. What if God can change his mind? So the same powers that be today that are allowing all the wickedness that are happening, allowing all these things that are happening, it is the same powers that be which will say, let us go back to God. And in order for us to go back to God, we need a common day, a global day of worship. Remember, a common global day of worship. And that common global day of worship is Sunday. If you don't believe me, I told you, go to YouTube or go to Google. The World Economic Forum talks about a Sunday rest. The United Nations talk about all these organizations. They talk about this Sunday, Sabbath. Go to the founders of the Heritage Foundation. The Heritage Foundation, they are talking about a Sunday, a day of rest, a global day of rest, which is Sunday. So I'm just giving you information. And you need to take this information serious because this is prophecy. This is prophetic. This is not guesswork. This is prophetic. And this is happening. Whether you believe the Bible or you don't believe the Bible, it don't matter. These things are being fulfilled. Whether you're going to pay attention to them or you're going to ignore them after this video, it don't matter. These things are being fulfilled now. Donald Trump is fulfilling prophecy. All right. And so I thought that I should come out and share with you. This video was supposed to come a long time ago, but I've been busy. My people. And I believe that from June we'll have our time together like we used to be. So, but the Sunday law is coming. Google Sunday laws, national Sunday laws, global laws, Sunday global laws. You're gonna see all these. Or Google blue laws, okay? Blue laws, Sunday blue laws, Sunday national laws, Sunday global laws. This is coming. So every crisis that is gonna come next, it will lead us to a Sunday, a global Sunday. All right. If you are a Christian, it is time you question what you believe, because many Christians, they go to church on Sunday thinking Sunday is the Sabbath. I can tell you for free, not a single scripture in the Bible which seems to suggest that Sunday is the Sabbath. In the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, the day of worship is the seventh day of the week. Saturday. Millions, even billions of Christians, they worship on Sunday. Why do you worship on Sunday as a Christian? You have no authority in the Bible. Now, I know many people say, no, we worship on Sunday because Jesus rose on Sunday. We worship on the first day of the week because we're honoring the resurrection. Fine, it is fine. You're honoring the resurrection. But who told you to honor the resurrection? Were you commanded in the Bible that from now on you must honor the resurrection? And why is it that the people in the New Testament never honored the resurrection of Jesus Christ? We don't find that tradition of worshiping on Sunday in honor of the resurrection. It is not there in the New Testament. In the book of Acts, they assembled, they gathered on the Sabbath day. I think you've got 6 scriptures in the Bible, in the book of Acts, telling you that the day of worship, even after the resurrection of Jesus Christ, was and has always been the Sabbath day, the 7th day of the week. In the rest of the Bible, you will not find a single verse that says Sunday is the new Sabbath. You will not find it. A single verse which says Sunday is the new Sabbath. All right, let us continue. Let us continue our talk tomorrow. Let us continue our talk tomorrow. Let us meet tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed. And thank you for tuning in. As you can tell, I am sickly. I am not feeling well. I'm not feeling well, as you can tell. But let's continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to look at the Sunday in the Bible. Is Sunday in the Bible a new Sabbath, a new day of worship? Tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow. Same time, same place. Subscribe to the channel. And thank you all for joining us. Thank you all for joining us. God bless you and have a lovely week. Tomorrow we'll continue our talk. Subscribe to the channel if you are not yet subscribed. Goodbye. Let's meet tomorrow. Let's meet tomorrow.